Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar in November for this year. Today we're going to talk about the topic SAP Concur NextGen Travel Allowance. My colleague Fabian is joining me, and she's going to support me for one side of technical reasons, and also if you have any questions, like we did the last times, if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat. She will help me with reading the questions, and we will answer them right away. For today, we have very exciting news for customers who are live with the countries in Germany and possibly Norway for a long time in regard of the travel allowance service. The agenda is as follows. Firstly, we will have a look into the benefits of the travel allowance service. Then we will have a look into the scope and actions for phase one, in which we currently are. Then we will show you the different upgrade options which you have available. Then we will have a quick summary of the topics, and then we will switch into a demo entity and have a look how the new travel allowance works, and where we have eliminated a lot of obstacles for the end users. So let's jump right into it. Firstly, of course, what are the benefits for the travel allowance service? Here, when you are using Concur and have the legacy travel allowance implemented currently, you know that it is a task for year end to keep in mind when statutory rates change, that you have to be aware of that. Create a ticket with SAP Concur to get the travel allowance rates updated, and this is solved with the travel allowance service. So when you are using statutory flat rates, then these rates will be automatically updated in the background, so you don't have to create any tickets anymore. This is being fully automatically in the background. Then a very nice feature is the simplified and intuitive user interface. One of the most user error section was basically with putting in the travel allowance into the system to get the correct rates calculated, and there we had the most user errors, and this is solved with the travel allowance service. In addition to that, we have a consistent user interface in relation of the rest of the system, because the travel allowance service has been developed with the NextGen UI, which has been introduced 2 years ago. And there we have basically no break in the system anymore when you are upgraded to the travel allowance service. And in addition to that, as last topic, the mobile app functionality is basically similar to the web interface. So the product gap there has been solved as well with the travel allowance service. So we are currently in the first phase of these implementations, and we have very clear scope items imposed on us, basically from SAP Concur, in which cases we are allowed to do the upgrade of the travel allowance rates, and in which cases we are not allowed to do that. So currently in phase one, we have the statutory flat rates for Germany and Norway, so just for these two countries, and when you are using statutory rates. So when you are paying basically company rates, we are not allowed to do any upgrade in this phase. And as well, in addition to that, we can so we have 0 to minimal customizing inside of the travel allowance configuration. Otherwise, this will be a custom upgrade, which is currently not in scope. So basically, items which are out of scope is when you are deviating from the statutory rates, the travel allowance configuration for all other countries globally, at least for the current stage. And when you have custom travel allowances, then we are not allowed to do any upgrades there. Which upgrades options do you have? So basically, we have three paths how you can upgrade to the travel allowance service. Firstly, you can do the upgrade autonomously by yourself based on the documentation which is being provided. You can do the upgrade via partner or by SAP Concur. For both cases, so for partner or for SAP Concur, this is a billable service which you have to purchase basically to get the implementation done. And you can decide for yourself how you want to go further with this. So basically from the summary, we can only upgrade the configuration in Germany and Norway currently. Custom upgrades are not supported in this phase. You are not required to complete the upgrade, so you don't have to upgrade to the travel allowance service. It's a decision for yourself, because when you like the benefits of the travel allowance service, then it makes sense, right? But you are not required to that. And this upgrade topic is a multi-year process, so there's currently no shutdown of the legacy TA scheduled. So therefore, you also don't have any pressure to upgrade in a specific time frame. Okay, so with that, we will go into the demo system and have a look how the new travel allowance works and how it looks. So just let's start a report inside of Concur. We get to the report header section. Basically, travel allowance service. And in the bottom, we have the selection of if we require the travel allowance, yes or no. And then when we click on next, we will get to the basically to the itinerary, where we put in our itinerary for our travel. And this is already the new look of the travel allowance service. So it's still it's the NextGen UI. It works with the design theme updates with Horizon, which we had discussed already in September. And we don't have any breaks in the system anymore. And when you think about the legacy travel allowance, how it is in your current system for these countries, this was basically the first part for the users where they had often complications, because the creation of the itinerary was very counterintuitive, right? So basically, in the legacy TA, you have to give your start location, start date, start time, but also then in that entry, the arrival date and time, right? Save the entry and then create a second entry for your trip back. And this was very counterintuitive. So therefore, the user interface changed here a lot. So basically, we provide our start location, for example, in Mainz in Germany. We provide a start date. This is the same as in the legacy TA. Let's say we started at 8 o'clock in the morning from home in Mainz. And then basically we provide the arrival location. Let's take Berlin. But we don't have to provide anymore the arrival date and arrival time and so on. We just basically jump to our trip back, and we just provide the end date and end time when we arrived back at home. And with that, we have our itinerary created and have that in a more easy manner for the end user's perspective, right? Of course, when we have additional trips inside of our trip, we can add additional destinations in between, right? And then we can basically provide, or we have to provide the arrival date and the arrival time as well. So let's say we arrived at 3 p.m. in Berlin, and then we traveled from Berlin to Hamburg in Germany. So let's select this one as well. And in Hamburg, we arrived the next day in the evening, for example, and then at home back the day after as well. So this is, of course, still also possible. And then basically when we have everything provided, I'm going to delete the destination just for the sake of the presentation. We can click on next. Then in the legacy TA, we also have a window in between where you can assign created itineraries and see which itineraries are already assigned to this trip. This is also, that was a window which was very confusing for the end users. So we have skipped that step as well. This window is removed and we basically get directly to the calculated rates for each day. And then we have the normal functionality where we can click on which meals are provided already, right? The system is recalculating the reimbursement amount for that day. And basically we can click on finish to enter everything into our expense report. With this, our expense report will be created and the entries for the daily allowance will be put into the expense report as well. From here, of course, we can still do changes to our travel allowance. We have a travel allowance tab. We can add additional travel allowances. So when we have a monthly expense report and we traveled multiple times, of course, we can add additional travel allowances. We can edit our travel allowance to get back to the window where we have the our meal allowances, or basically to the itinerary page back. Sorry for that. We get back to the itinerary page. We can add additional destinations. We can customize or change our trip and get back to the window with the travel allowances, right? So, quick loading screen, right? We can from here jump directly into the adjustments as well to update these without going into the trip details firstly and have everything updated there. Do you have any current questions regarding the demo, how that works? Otherwise, we're basically at the end of our demo already. Okay, it doesn't seem like that we have any questions. Then quick estimation, what kind of an effort is needed for this implementation. So basically, when it's done by us as an CIP partner, we will have an effort of 8 hours or 1 man day to implement these travel allowance upgrades into your system. For this webinar, or because of this webinar, we will have a special prepared for you. So when you come back to us and purchase this implementation, we will grant you a special of 20%. So we will grant you 20% bonus, and the 8 hours will also include 30 minutes of an end user training for your end users to have a quick training to discuss these changes and how to work with the new travel allowance from there. So like I said, this special offer is valid until the 30th of November. I think we have a question in the chat, if I have seen that correct, Fabienne?
Yes, you're right. Hello from my side. The question was, when do we expect other countries?
That's a very good question. So one very important thing is new implementations are not affected by this. So new implementations are always will be implemented in the travel allowance service already. But when you have countries already live from the past, then this applies, right? And in that case, where we don't have any information regarding the other countries currently, our information, it's just possible for Germany and Norway. So for German employees and Norway employees, right? And then like what we heard is that we should be getting some news in this regard in the first quarter of next year, but that's no guarantee there. So Thank you very much for your time today. Thanks for joining us. Have a nice day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.